Okay, so I'm back home from my dad's house now, and so I just thought that I'd kick off my coming home with working on the Power Mac G5, the 99 G5, which is, as you can see, sitting over there. Now, the power cord came in on Friday for that computer, which is awesome. It finally came in. Thank God it was the right plug type. And good news, it boots, and it works. And we do have a functional GeForce 6600, so it is Mac only in terms of the BIOS that it has. So that's all good news. So the bad news is now I have to get an operating system on it, and I don't own any DVD copies of macOS 10, Tiger, or Leopard, because the late 2005 G5s will only run a later version of Tiger or Leopard. And so the most convenient thing that I've done so far is something that's probably going to fail. I downloaded a macOS 10.5 install DVD, and as you can see, it's down there. I mounted it as a disk image because that's how it came, thank goodness. And then I put in a 32 gig USB 2.0 stick, and I formatted it as Apple partition map so that way it would work with the G5. And I'm restoring the read-only disk onto the USB through disk utility. Will it work? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be bootable or if it's even going to work at all. So considering that this disk image is over 7 gigabytes in size, and I don't own any dual layer DVDs to burn, this is pretty much my only way of getting an OS on here right now. Well, at least right at the moment, without borrowing or purchasing a macOS 10.5 DVD, because I don't own one. I don't own any dual layer discs, so it's going to be kind of hard. So while that's doing its thing, I thought I would kind of be a little bit of a spoiler, and I thought I would show you guys some recent yard sale acquisitions. They're not video worthy, they're just something that I've managed to pick up for cheap. So on yesterday I actually picked up this HP Pavilion F70 display, which has built-in Polk audio speakers inside the stand. And this is all one unit. This is a 17-inch flat panel display from 2003. And I bought this just because it was by donation. And so I gave him a couple bills for this monitor and was on my way. And while this technically does work with DVI to VGA converters, it actually has its own dedicated, if I have the enable flash option, it does have its own DVI port, which is very nice. And what's also very interesting is I don't know where it's located, but apparently the Polk audio speaker bar has some form of a microphone in it. I'm not sure where it is, but if I show you, and yes, I dug out the HP XW6600, there's a reason for it. There's a microphone out, so I'm not entirely sure where that goes in the speaker bar, or if there's anything for that. Now, what's interesting about this monitor is the way it's powered. So it does not have an internal power supply. It has one of these sort of Chinese quality power supplies, but it has a proprietary plug on it, so you have to have the power supply. Thank goodness I found it. But it plugs in directly into the sound bar with this little DIN connector here, and then this is actually attached to the monitor in a form of fashion, I guess, that transfers power to it. Hang on. This does take 2 hands to plug in. It's a very stiff connector. But anyway, and then what's interesting about it, and I do need to clean this up, so no comments on the dirtiness. You get what you pay for. Then this little DIN connector looks exactly the same as the one I just plugged in down there. But as a matter of fact, if I show you, I'm going to plug that back into the flat panel. You can tell it goes right up there into the stand. So that's what's interesting about this, is that all this stuff goes through the stand. So basically this is all one unit, hence why it's probably called a Pavilion, as I think it came with some high-end Pavilion in the day. I don't know if it would have came with my A250N. I don't think so. It could have been an option. It probably would have came with a CRT though. But this would be a great companion display to my HP Pavilion A250N, which would be awesome, because I don't have any kind of companion peripherals to that computer. So I guess this is one step closer. So, I don't know. I just bought it because I thought I could use a vintage LCD. Well, this is actually vintage. It is almost 15... Excuse me, I got some congestion in my nose. This fire smoke is making me really congested. So my apologies if I sound like I'm sick when I'm not. Anyway, but I figure it's almost 15 years old. It still works, so that's a good thing. There's only one minor problem with it though, and really I can't complain for $2. The panel itself has some press marks in it. I don't know, you can't see them right now, but there's a press mark here, and there's a gradual press mark in the panel. But really, for $2, I'm not going to complain. The panel itself is still in very good shape and has very good color and nice sharpness too. So it's a good condition display otherwise. So, not too bad. Also, the reason why I have my Inspiron 530 out is because I'm going to try putting a Intel Core 2 Quad into this. It's not a Q6600, it's a newer model Core 2 Quad that runs at 2.33 GHz versus 2.4. It's based on a newer architecture, on a newer DDR2 system. It's actually going to be coming out of my Gateway LX6810-01, which is a big, bulky desktop computer that I honestly really don't like. I like this Inspiron a lot better. So, even though I miss out on some of the features of that Gateway, like the front-mounted video input, I think it requires some kind of proprietary software that I don't have anymore, so it's basically worthless to me. And besides, both systems can run up to 8 gigs of RAM. This one actually has an upgraded power supply in it, and it has a larger hard drive. And it's all pretty much here, and I can toss a floppy drive in this if I wanted to, because I believe the motherboard actually has a floppy port on it. In addition to having the, I think that's LightScribe compatible, it might not be, DVD-RW drive, and I believe this is just an expansion bay down here. Yeah, it's just an expansion bay. So, yeah, I'm going to try putting a Core 2 Quad into this someday. If I have thermal paste, I think I do, somewhere. But, regardless, I'm just using this to stand the monitor because I don't want to use this one because it's too far away from the G5, so I just pulled this out because I bought it yesterday, quite literally. So, yeah. Also, in addition to that monitor, I actually got not one of these external optical drives. Well, technically this is its own unit. It's a Memorex double-layer external DVD-RW optical drive. Now, I would have just passed on this just because I don't like these things. They're kind of big and bulky, and you gotta have these external power supplies. Once again, kind of some Chinese quality power supply. At least it's got the right pin out. The reason why I got this, though, is because, in addition to just being USB, it also has FireWire 400 ports on it. So, I picked that up for, like, cheap, really cheap, so I was like, why not? And the drive does work. So, that's what's cool is I can daisy chain FireWire off this in case I get a FireWire drive. I can just daisy chain off this thing, and or use it on a PC that has USB or FireWire or whatever. So, very awesome. But that's not the only external enclosure I got. This one was also something I bought. I think this one, I paid $3 for this, that's right. Because it was at the same sale that I got the HP Pavilion F50 or F70 display. And I paid $3 for this. Now, what's cool about this is it's not just an optical drive external enclosure. As a matter of fact, you can actually put a hard drive in this too. A 3.5-inch hard drive. And this is complete, as far as I know. And it's also a FireWire and USB 2.0 combo, which makes it awesome. Now, you can put in an optical drive, as long as it's IDE, and it doesn't matter what. You can put in basically whatever optical drive. Or you have the adapter plate that you can pop in a 3.5-inch hard drive, which is awesome. So, this... there you can see. It's in there. I think that's metal. It might be plastic. It might just be a textured plastic. I don't know. But I believe it's all probably new in the box. I would assume. If not, it's probably been gently used and it's all complete still. So, yeah. I'm very excited about that. Have that for later. And then also for $3 because I felt it was worth it. I got one of these little KVM things. It's not a dedicated KVM box. What it is basically you plug in your main KVM inputs here, so you get your PS2 keyboard and mouse as well as a VGA, and it'll output 2 of the same thing. So 2 keyboard, 2 mouse, 2 VGA. And, you know, you can use something like that. I don't know what the heck that'd probably be used for. Maybe it could be used for, I wouldn't have a clue. Probably something education related or something simple like whatever. But I just basically could use it for extension cables, I guess. I'm not sure. I just bought it because it was there and somebody else was going to snatch it up, so whatever. So that's also cool. Also, for $1, I picked up this at the same yard sale that I got the that Memorex external optical drive. I picked this up for $1, Windows Vista Ultimate, bought by a Microsoft company store employee, purchased something like that. And this is the 64-bit only, even though it says 32-bit and 64-bit on the casing there. These shiny boxes doesn't make it easy to focus, but you can see 32 and 64-bit. But there's only the 64-bit disc inside this, so I put that on the HP XW6600 just to make sure it would work, and it actually installed. I've never had Windows Vista install on this system except with this disc. I tried installing it with USB, and it didn't work over USB, and I'm not surprised because I know there's some systems that you can install certain versions of Windows on there, and it'll only work over disk, not USB, so that's not surprising. So I thought about wanting to do the same thing for the Inspruns that have a nice Windows Vista system, but this has a Windows 10 Pro key on it, so I'm debating it. I guess in the long run, since it is running Windows 10, I can technically just reinstall it at any time, and it'll just re-download the product key from Microsoft servers and just re-download the Windows 10 Pro key onto this, and then I'll be fine. So I guess it's not my big worry. Same thing for my workstation. It also has a Windows 10 Pro digital certificate, so I can do whatever I want with the system. And then as soon as I install Windows 10 Pro, keeping Pro in mind for a reason, back onto the system, then it'll just reactivate, no big deal. The reason why I have to use the Pro version on the workstation is because there's physically 2 processors. Now, on Windows 10 Home, you can have multi-core processors, but you can only have 1 processor. If you have a system with more physical processors that are also multi-core, you have to have the Pro version. That's kind of a downside of using a system like this. Because if you install the home version of Windows 10, it'll install the home version, but it'll only let you use 1 CPU that's multi-core. You can't use multiple multiple CPUs that are multi-core. You can only use 1 in a home version. But whatever. It's verifying the USB right now. I guess we'll go ahead and check the status here. My guess is it was successful because it's verifying it right now. Please don't fail on me. What I should probably also mention is, hang on. I have managed to find a way to get that clear plastic piece that these G5s use. I was able to get it to stay in place, and I was kind of creative as to how to do this. What I ended up doing was I used that missing aluminum side panel to my advantage. Until I can straighten out this metal case, what I did was I opened the latch on the back, which moves these things, these 3 things, and this corner is the one that's been bent. So what I did was I opened the latch, then I kind of shoehorned it up this way at an angle, and then closed the latch, and then now this holds the acrylic side panel in place, or the clear plastic side panel in place. And the plus of this is that when I turn on the G5, I don't have the traffic signal lights at the front saying, "Hey, you idiot, you don't have the plastic on the side." And believe me, it does do that. Let me show you. So if I turn it on here, and I know it's going to chime. See, it's working. So if I move this plastic, this thing lights up like a Christmas tree. It's actually kind of funny because, yeah, see, you get red, yellow, and green lights all at the same time. I mean, what's not to like? You get the traffic signal inside your Power Mac. But, no, if I can hold it on like that, then I'll just do it this way. Sure, it's not perfect, but I don't have the aluminum side panel to pop on the side of this thing, and this case is bent, so I have to make do in some area. So, since this computer didn't initially come with hard drives, what I ended up doing was I looked at my junk bin, and I actually found that I have 2 identical capacity SATA 1 hard drives, and I just used the spare screws that they actually give you to. They're supposed to be used for mounting a second hard drive, but since there was no hard drive in here, I had to improvise. So I popped in 2 80 gig hard drives into the system. And the reason why I don't have any other bigger hard drives in this is because I was going to toss in a 320 gig, but then that drive ended up dying. So, wah wah wah. So I had to say goodbye to my Western Digital Caviar SE. It was a WD3200JS, one of the very early SATA hard drives that had both the SATA power and the older Molex style power on it, which was rather unfortunate that I had to let that machine go, but it is what it is. Hard drives tend to die, and that drive was almost 10 years old, so I gotta say I wasn't dissatisfied with that drive's performance. It did pretty well throughout its life, but I might try and see if I can fix it. I think it just is held on with some kind of smaller Torx style screws on the top cover. So since I've already wrote off the drive because it doesn't spin up successfully anymore, I don't know if the drive heads are stuck together because of the heat or what. I think it's probably the drive heads that are stuck together because it's been triple digit weather for quite a while because of the fire smoke from British Columbia, Canada. So it doesn't exactly help matters any. So I think either the drive has failed due to heat, causing the drive to just suddenly stick up and die, even though it'll still spin up just fine. Give me just 1 second. I gotta plug in the DVI adapter here in the back of the G5 so that way I can get the display going. But it's probably heat. That's what killed the drive. I can't see any reason why it would not be dead, because that drive, when I put it away, was working. So it is what it is. So I think, yeah, that goes the other way with the analog pins on the right. Fortunately, you can use a DVI to VGA adapter on this system, which is very convenient. The only annoying thing is this VGA cable is only so long that I gotta crawl underneath it. Without trying to bust it, of course. Oh, you're kidding. It actually worked. Wow. Disk utility actually worked. Wow. So now I have 2 macOS 10 Leopard install disks. So here's to hoping that well, I'm going to unmount the disk image and also unmount the USB. So gotta wait for that to unmount because that's the USB. And we're going to see if the G5 can boot up off of it. Now, I can't guarantee anything, which is why I'm not going to be so optimistic of this working. If it does work, then cool. But if not, I won't be surprised. So, what I need to do, because I don't have a dedicated keyboard and mouse for my G5, what I just do is I just take my keyboard and mouse from my iMac, just disconnect it from my USB extension cable, and plug it into the Power Mac. As a matter of fact, actually, I can't have the USB in the front. I have to have it in the back, because I have to use this front input for my keyboard and mouse because the cable won't reach. And I don't feel like unrouting my USB extension thing that I got with my Apple keyboard. So, alright, let's get this in there. The system should be new enough. It should be able to boot from USB. I can't guarantee it though, because I know these older PowerPC Macs, they might be limited to only booting off of either disk or FireWire or network boot. I'm not entirely sure what options I have. If it shows up and boots, then that's awesome. But if not, then I'm gonna see if, about getting Tiger. So, all right, let's see what happens here. I gotta hold down Option. I'm not sure if the Power Mac uses any kind of special video modes. I would assume not. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use this F50 or F70 display. I keep calling it an F50 because that's the 15-inch model. This is the 17-inch model. Whoops, I'm a dummy. All right, so here we go. So yeah, now you can more clearly see the press marks of this display. So again, it's not the worst I've seen, but it certainly could be better. So far, I don't see no USB devices showing up. So, really, that does not surprise me one bit. I don't see anything. So I don't know if it's just because it can't boot off USB, or it just doesn't see the USB at all. And I know that's kind of silly, but, you know, it's an old power PC, so... my mouse is kind of busted, so it won't exactly click right away. Yeah, see, it's not gonna let me boot, so, yeah, I don't know if there's any possible way that I can just link the iMac up to this over Ethernet and just boot it up that way. I don't think you can, because I know Ethernet is peer-to-peer, but I don't know if that'll work in the way that I want it to. It's probably still not going to detect it, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So, no, the LCD panel, it only just has press marks in it. That's all that's wrong with it. I mean, what do you expect for $2? I mean, you're not going to get always a perfect LCD. And besides, this LCD is almost 15 years old, so, I mean, really, I'm not going to complain too much for $2. I do need to probably take apart the speaker bar, because it sounds like this side is kind of got some dirt in it or something. I don't know. And it is a scratchy control. It's not doing it now, but it tends to kind of be scratchy. So, although I don't need it, because the G5 has its own built-in speaker, of course, like every other Mac in the world, really. So yeah, I'm gonna see about that. We'll see. I don't think I'm gonna get any farther, because of course this is a newer Intel Mac, and obviously it's running macOS Sierra, so I can't exactly boot that on a G5. No way, no how. So I don't know, because again, I don't have dual layer DVDs, so I can't burn Leopard onto a disc. Target disk mode, I'm not sure, because I don't have FireWire cables. I don't have any FireWire 800 cables. Neither do I have FireWire 400 cables. So that makes it kind of difficult. And the only DVDs I have are these single layer 4.7 gig discs. I'm not sure how much it would cost for dual layer discs, which would be 8.3 gigs, which would work just fine. But that's the problem, is that. So that kind of sucks. So I might try and see if I can maybe get something to work with Ethernet. I don't think Plop will work because it doesn't boot off USB, and I don't know if it would boot off of this. I could try looking it up, and I could try burning it to a CD. Maybe. Oh, wait. Right. I gotta move the keyboard and mouse back over to the iMac. Well, let me go find it for one thing. If anything, it'll be useful for older PCs that can't boot off USB, which many of mine actually do boot off USB. But we'll see here. I don't remember if these Power Macs actually boot off Ethernet or not. I know they can install macOS 10 off Ethernet, if I remember correctly, but you have to, like, do some kind of special procedure, and you gotta have like a server or something. Not entirely sure. Anyway, let's go ahead, open up Google Chrome, and let's just go see what we can do here. So we'll just type in Plop Boot Manager. There we go, Plop Boot Manager. And of course the internet's going to be a pill because I'm streaming, but that's okay. So let's see. Don't need any of those extra ones. I just need the main zip file. And we let that download. I'm going to grab me a CD. So give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. Oh, it's already downloaded. Nice. Okay. So, whoops. If I could get this to stand up, that would be great. frigate, whatever. So let me get my stack of CDRs. And, oh, fuck. Don't drop them, for one thing. Tell you what, these spindles of CDs that you can buy nowadays, these spindles of 100 CDs, they're so cheap. They really are cheap. And you might be joking to yourself when I show you this. Hey, why don't you install macOS 10.0? It won't work on a G5. Sorry. The only computer that I own that'll actually boot that macOS 10.0 disk is going to be my iMac over there. Yes, I'm so glad that the G5 boots. So, yeah. I need to go ahead and pop that back in. Actually, we can go ahead and let that sit in. So, if I get this in there properly. Goodness gracious, you know, I need a dedicated cameraman some days, it seems like. But considering the amateurish work I do, probably not. I think it'd be just fine. And this is why I have an older iMac, so I have an optical drive integrated into the computer. Apple, thank you. Anyway, that and I'm gonna use what I'm gonna use. I mean, really, I can't afford a newer model iMac anyway. Okay, so let's see here. I suppose that this is gonna have its own. Let's see here. Does it have its own thing? I'm going to assume I take this disk image and mount it. And then, yeah, this is actually made when Steve Jobs was alive. It's a mid-2011 iMac, so one of the last computers that was made underneath when he was alive. Basically, that's just got a bunch of README files and a .bin file, so that's probably not going to work. Right, just mount it in Finder, whatever. So, Windows, Linux, experimental. I guess I'll open the README here. Install with CD. Let's mount the ISO then. Oops, I didn't do it. Let's just. Can I mount the ISO? Yes, I can mount the ISO. Okay. So that seems to be a valid image, so I'm going to go ahead and unmount the no name. I think I just closed out the Finder window with that in it. Of course I do. Of course I do. So I suppose what I should do is take this ISO file, right-click, burn disk image. Sure, we'll do 24 speed, whatever. And eject disk when they're done. Burn. Alright, we'll let that burn. That makes me think of the Ellie Goulding song. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and I left a can of Pepsi open, so I'm gonna go grab that. Whoops, because I'm smart. I leave cans of Pepsi open, and it's not exactly delicious to drink a warm Pepsi. So yeah, cheers. Pepsi's actually pretty good right now. I was gonna get a Mountain Dew, but I already had one today. Yeah, 32-ounce cup, so I'm pretty good on Mountain Dew for the moment. When I say that, I'm gonna go get more Mountain Dew. I'm just kidding, I'm not. But whatever. Alright, burn completed successfully. That's a good sound. Okay, so now, here's the fun part. Get to transfer the keyboard and mouse back over to the G5. Now, the reason why I'm using this stuff from my iMac is because this is one of my only mice that I have that I know of that will actually eject the super drive, because this is an official Apple piece of hardware. I do have an older Apple Pro mouse outside that's black that I could probably use, but you know how it is, I'm lazy. Okay, so now I know what we need to do. We need to go ahead and hold down not only Option but also the mouse button. Hello there. So, Option and the mouse button at the same time after I turn the power on. So, hold down mouse button, hold down Option. There's the chime. Honestly, you guys ought to have seen my face when I was turning on the G5 for the first time. And at first it didn't actually chime. What it did was it made a 3 beep code, and then the fans ramped up to full speed. And I found out what the problem was because I put the RAM in in an improper way. So what you're supposed to do is match the quantity of RAM sticks, and I just totally forgot to plug in the DVI cable. Whoops. I guess I get to do that. Is that why it's not ejecting? Is because it can't initialize the video, so it can't, of course, eject the damn super drive. Of course! Of course! Give me just 1 second. Give me just 1 second. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Certified official Apple idiot. You know, I had a good weekend. You can tell because I'm fucking everything over. Because that's just what I do. That's just how I roll. Okay, come on. I don't exactly have all the time in the world right now to be working on this, to be honest. Ah, for fuck's sake, I can't see the DVI ports. I can't read your comments, sorry. So your comments are going to have to wait, so I guess insert bad Jordan jokes here. In the DVI port. There we go. Okay, cool. Right. Power on. And take 2. I hate myself for doing that. I always wonder why it never works, and I realize, duh, you didn't plug the DVI cable, you idiot. Whoops. I am so bad at this. Now it should boot up. So, any second now, we should have the screen come on. There it comes. And the super drive opened. Yay. Okay. Do some thrift store videos. Yesterday I found a Macintosh SE for 13 bucks, but the friend had bought it first. Oh. Well, I would do thrift store videos. I have no problem doing that. It's just that there's nothing here at these thrift stores. There's really nothing here. So, the only real thrift store computer that I actually have that, well, there's more things, but one that's, like, as of recent, is this custom build down here on the floor that I used for my Windows Server 2016 video. And I didn't even buy that. It was actually gifted to me from my friend. All I owed him was reinstallation of Windows 10 on his laptop because the Windows registry got fucked up so badly that I had to reinstall Windows 10. So I just said, you know what? For all the work I've done for your computer, I'll just consider that the cost of the computer, so whatever. Alexandru, this is not filling me with confidence. I literally just burned the ISO and it's not showing up in the bootloader. Nope, it doesn't find the CD. So, Plop does not work on a PowerPC Mac. Well, how am I supposed to know what disk image to use? They clearly give you an ISO, and then the README it said use plpbt.iso to boot from CD. So that's what I did. Well, maybe. If I'm ever lazy enough to get footage off of my GoPro, maybe. But, nope. It's not finding it, so that kind of sucks. Because literally, oh, for God's sake. This is gonna be... This is literally turning into a Drago 1 video right now because I have to keep swapping the damn keyboard and mouse back over. This is gonna be the death of me. Where's my USB extension cable? Oh, gotta bend over and this is gonna kill me. There you go. You can't actually install an SSD inside of a G5. They are SATA 1 only. And believe me, Drago 1's already tried. Any kind of a G5 with any kind of an SSD just doesn't work, so you're kind of SOL when it comes to a solid-state drive and a G5. They just simply don't work. Believe me, that's already been done. That's already been tested. So, my guess is, let me do a get info on this. You see, 557,056 bytes, whereas this one over here, same size. So it doesn't matter whether or not I would have wrote this one to a CD or this one to a CD. Neither would have worked. So I don't know if there's a difference. Well, no, the .img is the floppy disk. The .iso is the CD. So if the .iso with the CD doesn't work, then the .img isn't going to make it any better because that's designed to be wrote to a floppy disk. So basically, plop does not work on a Power Mac G5. And I'm pretty sure that it means it doesn't work with any kind of Macintosh that's a Power PC. In fact, I think plop's just more mainly used for Windows PCs that just can't boot from USB. Well, here's your README. That's your README. Literally, it says plpbtin.iso, install with CD. Boot manager CD. See? There is nothing for Mac. There is nothing for Mac. It's either now let's see. Image I can upload. If I ever get an iMac 2006 Core 2 Duo. 2006 iMacs, as far as I know, are Core Duo only. They're the 32-bit systems. So if I wanted a Core 2 Duo, I would have to get a 2007 iMac, to my knowledge. Huh. Maybe it was a higher end one, because as far as I know the early 2006 iMacs used the Core Duo processors. But maybe there was a late 2006 that used the Core 2 Duo. I'm not too familiar with them. All I know is my iMac's powered by a 2nd gen Core i5, so whatever. It gets the job done, hence what you're seeing right now. So, by the way, for my internal DMG, if your disk image is the DVD version of Tiger, then that should boot on this system, or whatever your image is. I'm not entirely sure. Because as far as I know, I tried the... Actually, let me... do I still have that spindle? Yes, I do. I have the spindle out. Okay. So, once again, I'm going to do the lovely job of demonstrating how you swap a keyboard and mouse in between an iMac and a Power Mac G5, because you get to unplug it from the extension cable. And then, you get to plug it in to the G5. Ta-da! It's magic. Anyway, power it on. Well, here's the thing. This doesn't boot from USB. Hang on, I gotta do the key combo real quick with Option and the mouse button. So that's why it's gonna be black for a minute. I gotta do this real quick, and it takes 2 hands. Alright, it's on, and it's ejected. Cool. Okay, so let me take this plop disk out, since it apparently didn't work. So, let me go ahead and grab my... for goodness sake. I have too many of these CD spindles, but yeah, this is what I'm about to show you. I have the CD version of Tiger, so if I go ahead and put the first disc inside here... Blu-ray's time. But, hang on a second. But no, I can't boot from USB, as you can clearly tell. I don't know if I just wrote the disk image wrong or what the deal might possibly be. Let me do a rescan here. That was my sister in the house, in case you were wondering. See, now it's recognizing that there's a CD in the drive, and you can see macOS 10 install disk 1. So you'd think I'd be out of the woods, right? Wrong. It's not that simple. And I know the reason why this is. This disk image, or this disk of macOS 10 Tiger, it wasn't wrote improperly, because that's the same disk image I used to install on my iMac G3. The reason being is because this this Mac... I cannot speak today, I'm sorry. This Power Mac G5 came out after Tiger was launched, so 10.4 CD installed disks won't work. They'll look like they'll boot up, as you can see. They'll look like they'll boot, but it'll immediately kernel panic. See? It'll immediately just kernel panic the Mac. So I can't use it, because there's no proper drivers. IO kit, driver, IO platform, function, all that stuff. It's meant for an older Power Mac G5, and I'm not running an older one, I'm using a newer one, so there's nothing there for this to boot from. This is not compatible. So that's where I'm at with the CD install of Tiger. Now, yes, I do know that on some of these discs, you can modify. For fuck's sake, I always forget to plug back in the damn USB thing. Believe me, I need more peripherals. USB peripherals. I have plenty of PS2. I have plenty of PS2 keyboards and mice. I just don't have a lot of USB. And especially, I don't have a lot that are Mac compatible. I mean, I do have a G3 keyboard, but I'm not going to use that on this system. Are you kidding me? I need the special keys like the eject key and the volume keys and such. So, anyway. I don't know where my macOS 10 install stuff is at. I know they're ISO files, so give me just 1 second. Let me look inside my hard drive here. Where's that at? Okay. I want to say that's the incorrect disk image. Yes, that's the wrong one. That's not what I want. Alright, eject. Where's that at? Is it under OS images? Because I can totally run OS 10 Mavericks on a G5. That's not gonna work. Not gonna work. I swear I thought I had my freaking macOS 10 Tiger things on this folder. Alright, let me go back here. Let me go see. See, this is the one that I was going to use because this is Leopard, 7.2 gigabytes. That is macOS 10 Leopard. So I could use that, but I can't find my Tiger disk images. I guess I got rid of them or something. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. macOS 10.4 CD version. It's right in my face. Poop. So let me go ahead, let that extract, because apparently it's in a .zip format, and Macs don't normally like .zips because they have to extract them before you can access them. Just like any other form of macOS 10. Probably because this was wrote on Windows, so it doesn't exactly like it. No, G5s don't run 10.6. Because if it were to have run 10.6, then I would have, you know, I could have been easily able to buy a 10.6 disc, but, you know, it has to run 10.5, which it's more expensive to buy a disc for 10.5 than 10.6. Because, of course, 10.6 discs were made way longer into the future. So, go figure. But no, PowerPC Macs were dropped after 10.5. Any PowerPC Mac. Okay. So as you can see, these are the 4 disk images. Now what I'm not sure is if I were to open this one up, my guess is what was the button? I think you have to open these up or something. Oh yeah, you do have to mount them. So let me go ahead and mount that real quick. I can't install it because my Mac's not compatible, but that's fine. So I think what you do is you take this, you show package contents, go into contents, go into resources. Is this the right folder? No, it's not. Okay. Show package contents, macOS, install macOS 10. Oh, info.plist. Show package contents. Info.plist. What do we got? Now I think there's a specific... No, that's not the thing I was thinking of. I know on some of these discs, what you can do is you can change it to where it says what Macs it can run on. I'm trying to figure out what folder that would be kept in. Startup disk, maybe? No, that wouldn't be in that. Because I was trying to think of what's in that file. Oh, that's just installer background. Well, that's nice. That's useful. It's in one of these folders, I would think. Info plist.strings, maybe? Can I just run text edit to open that? Where's text edit? There it is. Can I just open that in text edit? Nope. Nope, that's not going to let me use it. So, yeah, I know the DVD versions of Tiger will let you do that. They'll let you look inside the supported Mac list. But let me look on YouTube. I know there's a particular video that documented that sort of thing. And I can just use it as a temporary. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm streaming. Well, isn't that useful? How to modify a Mac OS 10 disk to work on other Macs. Whoops, Macs. I believe that's, yep, there it is. So let's watch this video. Oh God, get Carly Kloss out of here. You're not loved, Carly Kloss. Alright, now. I know you need to make a disk image of the disk. And then what you do... Oh, hang on. Is there something... Okay, that's a Mac Mini model, but that's not what I'm looking for. Okay. So, Mac OS 10 install disk 1. So, alright, let me unplug my headphones, because apparently that's what... Oh no, that's... My speakers are muted. That's right. Take out this closed captioning. Now.
And look through the files. Scroll down and find the system folder.
Scroll down and find the system folder. Well, that's a DVD. That's the DVD. Although... Oh yeah, you can scroll down. Wow, I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. So, scroll down until you find the system folder. Go into, I believe it was installation and packages. And then,
Then go into installation.
Yep, installation.
Then packages.
Packages.
Then scroll down and find OS install.
Scroll down, find OS install. Whoops, where's my mission control button? There it is. So, OS install. And then what you do is show package contents. Go to contents. And then you go to the info.plist. And this is where all the supported systems are, as far as I know. Or one of these files has the supported Mac models in it. Maybe it's under resources. Alright, let me watch this video more.
What you'll need next, go into this and select open with.
Okay, you take the OS install.dlist thing and you do it that way. The OS install. Go to show package contents, OS install, open, whoops, open with other, open with text edit, and here we go. So, here we go. Now, I don't remember what version of Power Mac I have, so let me go ahead and look that up here. Go back to Chrome. Power Mac G5 late 2005 2.3 dual. Alrighty, I know it's like Power Mac 5, or Power Mac 11, 2. That's what mine is. 11, 2. So let's see. Find 11, 2. Nothing. Okay. So let's see. Power Mac, all one word. Power Mac G3, 2, 1. Check supported boot ROM. var machines needing ROM update. So, bad machines, PowerBook 1999, iMac, PowerBook 1, that'd be the original iMac, PowerBook 1, 2, 1, Gossamer, I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, Power Mac G3, PowerBook 98, 99, Check supported machine through exception. That would throw up the kernel panic if it doesn't boot. So, we can't find it. Assume it's supported, return true, whatever. But, Power Macs that would have supported boot ROM or need boot update. System numeral compare. If system on disk is less than 10.2, if system on disk is greater than what is being installed, the Essential OS bits are not selected, then we can't really install anyways. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. The problem with doing this is that I would have to make an entire new disk 1. Not that it matters, because I have CDs, so I can reburn it if I need to. So, really not that big of a deal. There's a list of supported machines somewhere in this. I guess the only thing that it has on this particular disc, because I believe this is I believe this version is because if you had the OS X Tiger installed DVD, but you needed to exchange it for CDs, it would be like $10 extra or something. So I don't think this is it, because of course, if I scroll down here, you can see underneath the language, let's see, var HWBE supported machines. Let's take a look, see here. So edit, find. Let's try looking for that. Let's see. var space HW. Yep, see. As soon as I start typing in var HWBE, 0. So it's not on this, because again, if we can't find it, assume it's supported. It literally says so right there. That's a note by the people making this. That's a note. If you can't find it, assume it's supported. So I don't know what to tell you, because there's a bunch of vars, and I could start looking through these vars. The only thing that mentions Power Mac is machines needing ROM update. Power Mac 2,1, Power Mac 2,2. And Power Mac 2,2 would be probably the G4. Power Mac 2,2. Ah, it's not very useful. No, isn't it? Power Mac 2,2. Oh, you're useful. You're not giving me anything. What is this? Power Mac 2,2. Yeah, see, look at this. It's an iMac G3 350. As far as I know, these do not have FireWire. So, yeah, this is one mentioning the firmware update. Although I don't remember. I think these can run Tiger, but I believe Tiger requires that you have FireWire. Or something. Something stupid. But, there is no variable talking about supported machines. There is nothing for that. So, yeah. It just simply is not going to boot. Because I think my Mac is too new for that particular install disk of Tiger. Now, if I go back into the Finder, go to Downloads, go to where my Leopard disk is, and mount that. Skip the verification. Now, if I go into here, there's nothing in there. Of course there isn't. Nope. Optional installs. Or is it under instructions or something? Well, welcome to Leopard, whatever. Let's just take a look at this PDF. Let's just make sure that we know how to install it, get all that stuff. No, that's not really going to help. So I'm not sure how you're supposed to be able to host something to a network to boot this. Because, yeah, that's kind of crap. I suppose what I could do, and I just now thought about this, excuse me, I could actually install Linux on this, on the G5. I find an old version of Kubuntu for PowerPC, or Ubuntu for that matter, doesn't matter which. So, that's a FTP thing I could probably look in. Oh, actually it's not, hang on. You have to scroll down, you have to find the alternate installs, and you find the one for PowerPC. I know Leopard does work on the G5, but the problem is I can't burn the disk image because Apple's like, fuck you, you gotta have a stupid freaking dual-layer DVD. I don't have dual-layer DVDs, I only have single-layer DVDs, so I can't burn a disk. It's stupid. And I tried going about the USB route. Yeah, the Power Mac doesn't detect the USB stick at all. So, that's annoying. Whatever. So, yeah, let me take this USB stick out because it's pointless having it in the back because it doesn't work. I tried taking the macOS 10 Leopard disk, and I tried restoring it to this through disk utility, and it didn't work. So even though it worked, it doesn't boot. So G5s just don't boot off USB. They only boot off FireWire. But the problem is I don't have any FireWire cables. So goody me, I'm basically fucked, and I don't have the money to buy other things. So yeah, I'm trying other alternative methods. So, yeah. So, I suppose what I'll try and do here, I'll just download this PowerPC version of Kubuntu. Maybe I'll, instead of doing Kubuntu, maybe I'll try the newer version of Ubuntu for PowerPC. I know they made 16.04 and 16.10 for PowerPC as well. So I suppose what I could do is I could do let's go to this FTP and see what we can find. Maybe we'll find something for PowerPC. Then let's see here. Ubuntu probably, I suppose it'd just be regular Ubuntu core. Probably. Oh god, this FTP is slow. 16 probably. Stable. And nope. Whatever. I like Kubuntu more anyway, so that'll just be the one that I get. Let's see. I think it's Command J. Nope, it's Control J. I hate how you can't use a key combination on the Mac version of Google Chrome to get to your downloads. You have to press the button. It's stupid. But I guess we'll go ahead and we'll let that download then. Very bad connection, my ass. You can very bad connection somewhere else. Stupid. Friggin' YouTube. And then I can just burn this onto a CD. That will actually boot on the G5. So, in the meantime, I can make sure that my hard drives work. Because I'm not expecting to... Well, Linux on a PowerPC, I get it as bad. But when you can't install macOS 10, you have no other choice. I want to make sure my hard drives are good. And I want to make sure everything's booting and everything like that. So guess what? You can get the middle finger because I don't care. Yeah, I know. Chrome/downloads, I did that, but yeah. So you can't do Control J, and you can't do Command J because it doesn't load the stupid thing. So it's kind of annoying. So whatever. So until I can actually get a proper disk image or some kind of disk of macOS 10.5 working on this thing, I can't install it right now because I don't own a freaking disk. I mean, I'm glad that my super drive actually works and opens despite the bent case, so kind of grateful for that. And by the way, if you go on eBay and you go to look up macOS 10 discs, yeah, I ain't got that kind of money right now. I don't have that money. I don't have like the 25 or 30 bucks to buy that stuff. Edit and find and text. Yes, I did do an edit and find and text edit, but you know what? It never did find that stupid variable string because it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist on those disks. So, sorry, I can't find it. There's nothing to pop in supported machines or good machines or something like that because the CD version doesn't have that. What he was showing was a restore disk. I have the retail disk. So obviously the retail disk is going to work with any supported machine other than the ones that were listed as bad machines. Whereas a restore disk is only meant to work on certain models. So if you got one of those gray disks that, you know, you can't boot on a certain disk because it's only meant to run on certain models, that's how that hack works. But since I have the retail disk and it doesn't boot in a system like this, you know, whatever, doesn't matter. I suppose, again, because that would have shipped with Tiger, but with a newer release on it, like 10.4.3 or something, maybe 10.4.2, not 10.4.0. It doesn't make sense why it doesn't boot, so there could be other things wrong with the computer as well. But the only way for me to know is I'm going to try a different OS disk. And that's the only way I'm going to be able to get to the bottom as to why this is not working. So, I'm going to go ahead and let this download, and then I'm going to go make me some food, probably. And then I'm going to make a part 2 stream to this. No, I can't install Tiger via CD. It won't boot. It just kernel panics. Literally, I'll show you. The Tiger disk is still in the drive. I don't even need to hold down C. I'll show you what's going on. Well, the hard drives aren't good. Well, the hard drives don't have an operating system on them. So, whoops. I forgot the keyboard's not even plugged into the G5. Whatever. It'll still show what I'm trying to demonstrate here. Once it finds the disk. There it goes. Because notice, it looks like it's going to boot up just fine, right? It thinks so. But then, blah, kernel panic. com.apple.iokit.io PCI family. So, my guess is that it's trying to boot for an AGP G5, and it doesn't work on an AGP G5, because this is a PCI and PCI Express G5, so it won't work. It's trying to boot on an older G5, and it doesn't work. So, I don't know if I need some kind of, like, old world ROM or whatever. I'm not sure if I need any kind of updates, but I can't install any updates, because I don't have an operating system disk that works. So, it kind of sucks. So, I probably need a DVD install with some updates on it in order to get this thing to work. Probably something with like 10.4.6 or something on it or something. I gotta turn the G5 off real quick here. So I suppose I could browse the Pirate Bay and I could try to find something with 10.4.6 on it on a single layer DVD, and I could try booting that up. I suppose. Not like I'm going to get very far with that. So, excuse the upside down video. You're going to have to deal with that for a moment because I'm going to type and the keyboard's in an awkward angle. Fuck. If I don't drop my phone. Sorry about that. Alright, let's see. 10.4.3. That would probably work. 2.64 gigs. I don't think the CD version is going to work. I'm going to have to get the DVD version. That's the problem. So, Mac Pro 2.5 gigahertz. Poop. Alright, let's go ahead and try this. Open BitTorrent. Alright, there it is. macOS 10 10.4 Tiger DVD PowerPC. Okay. Alright. Actually, remove that one because I'm done with it. Once I get Tiger installed, then I can upgrade to Leopard, because then what I can do is I can take the Leopard disk image, and then I can just transfer it over, and I can install it. So, I can do it that way. Alright, stop. So I can go pause the Linux down. Actually, I just as well let this download, because I don't actually have this, so I might as well. Because this could actually come in handy in case I need it later on. So, whatever. And then I'll go ahead and we'll get macOS 10 install DVD, whatever, going here. 2.63 gigs. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go get some food. I'm going to go do some other things, and I'm going to make a part 2 stream. So that's probably going to be, I don't know, within a couple hours or so, if some people are still awake at that point. I'm not sure. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, yeah. Either that or I'll just stream tomorrow, because I'm not going to be really doing anything tomorrow. I hope not. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream off here because I don't have anything else to do on camera. And I got stuff I want to go do. So, I'll see you guys either in a little bit or tomorrow. We'll see what happens and whatnot. Hopefully that macOS 10 Tiger DVD that I'm going to download, this one here, which is apparently in a .toast thing. I don't know if I need any kind of special software to convert that. Hopefully I don't need it. We'll see. Excuse me. I'll probably have to find some proprietary software to download that, which uses the .toast extension. And we'll get that burned onto a single layer DVD and get it going. Alright. Cooking with Jordan. Sorry, I'm gonna go get me some other food. I'm not gonna cook tonight. I'm too lazy. So, alright guys, take care.